Mr. Speaker, this disbursement schedule is guided by Section 17 of the PFM Act that clearly says two things, Mr. Speaker. One, that at the beginning of every quarter, and in any event not later than 15th day from the commencement of the quarter, the Treasury shall disburse monies to the county government. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, it says that the disbursement referred to herein shall be done with a schedule prepared by the National Treasury in consultation, Mr. Speaker, with the Intergovernmental Budget and Economic Council, and most importantly, Mr. Speaker, with the approval of Senate. And thereafter, the disbursement schedule is gazetted in the Kenya Gazette. Mr. Speaker, this is a process. And clearly, when you look at this process, it's a legal process which culminates in publication in the Kenya Gazette. But Mr. Speaker, in most cases, this schedule is not adhered to. This schedule is never adhered to because you find that money is delayed. Disbursement of money is delayed to the counties. Sometimes even by 2-3 months. And because of that, counties have suffered. Pending bills have occurred. Delayed implementation of projects. Challenges with absorption. So this is an exercise that this Senate should take seriously. And Mr. Speaker, we cannot be spending our time here discussing this schedule, approving it, when the executive is not going to follow it. It is useless. It is making us look bad as a Senate that we can approve a schedule here and we become toothless in enforcing it. Mr. Speaker, I would want to urge the Senate, effective from the approval of this schedule, to be serious and ensure that, particularly the Committee Concerned of Finance, and ensure that this schedule is adhered to. Because this schedule is not just an arbitrary schedule. There is a process that goes into it. Projection, budget projections, revenue projections, the Department of Planning is involved for them to come up with this schedule. It is then taken to IBEC for discussion. IBEC, which has representation from the national government and county government. It cannot, therefore, come to the level where Treasury decides when to send the money to the counties and when not to send the money to the counties. Even as we thank the Kenya Kwanza government for ensuring that monies for the last financial years was 100% disbursed by June 2023. But we must also appreciate that from December 2022 to around March there was delayed disbursement to the counties. And that affected service delivery in the counties. So, Mr. Speaker, all I'm urging this Senate is that the relevant committees, which in this case is Finance and Budget Committee, must ensure that this schedule that we pass here is not an exercise in futility. It is adhered to, and the monies are sent to the counties within the time frame indicated on this schedule, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, allow me also to talk about the role of Senate. Sometimes, Mr. Speaker, I get concerned where we are heading to as a Senate. Article 96 of the Constitution, Mr. Speaker, provides for the role of Senate. And the role of Senate is to represent counties and protect the interest of counties and the county governments. Mr. Speaker, with all due respect, we respect and like our political parties. We like our coalition. We like our party leaders. But the primary role of a senator, when you get through that door, Mr. Speaker, is to, number one, protect, represent your counties. Sometimes when you sit here and you get an impression that we are not really representing our counties, we are representing executive, or we are representing our political parties. And that's why, Mr. Speaker, when we were given an opportunity to increase money that goes into our counties to 407, it was very disappointing that this Senate rejected the money and went for a lower figure. That is a fact. And Mr. Speaker, in the next few days, we will all be going to Eldoret for devolution conference. What message is the Senate going to say in that devolution conference? When we denied our counties more money, we may argue and say we gave them an extra 15 billion. Yes, but we had an opportunity to make it higher than 15 billion to 407. Mr. Speaker, it's very disappointing. We must sit down and ask ourselves, are we doing justice to our counties? So my colleagues, I want to argue, and Senator Khalwale, I respect you as an elder. I came to this house because I used to watch Senate Khalwale making contributions. But I want to urge you and your colleagues.
Senator Boni Khalwale, what is your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, I'm rising on standing order number 105. And with all humility, the Constitution says the money that will be disbursed to the board governments should not be less than 15%. Mr. Speaker, when we increased by 15 billion, we actually met the threshold by giving 24% of the last audited account. Is the senator in order, or is he ignorant of the fact